Okay, I talked to Marley today and she's expecting to come today. I think the rain might just be throwing people off.
Sure. Commissioner Campisi?
Present.
Commissioner Chabot? Commissioner Cho?
Present.
Commissioner Cunningham is not here. Commissioner Edwards? Commissioner Felty?
Present.
Or Chairperson Felty, excuse me. Commissioner Flynn?
Here.
Commissioner Sorgan?
Present.
Commissioner Tagboy?
Present.
Commissioner Van Pelt, or excuse me, Vice Chair Van Pelt?
Present.
And Commissioner Vice is absent. Okay, so I just want to note the absences of Commissioners Bubenacek, Cunningham, Edwards, Reeds, Steinberg, and Vice. And for the ad hoc subcommittee, we have Commissioner Nguyen,
Present.
Commissioner Trone is not here, and Commissioner McCauley. So just want to note the absences of Commissioners Robles, Trone, and McCauley. So we do have a quorum this evening.
Perfect.
Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry. Commissioner Edwards, you're right. I apologize. Commissioner Edwards is present. Sorry about that. I couldn't see your name on the other side.
Okay, we can move on to our salute to the flag. Please stand. Place your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, and do we have a motion to approve the order of the agenda?
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Could I ask for who was the second? Okay, thank you.
Okay, and do we have any blue folder items tonight?
We have none this evening.
Okay, moving on to the consent calendar. Can I have a motion to approve the order of the consent calendar?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, do we move on to public participation on non-agenda items?
Yes.
So we do have a member from the public, Rick McQuillan. You can please come to the podium. Rick, you have 3 minutes to speak.
Hi, everybody. I'm Rick McQuillan, a South Bay tech developer and entrepreneur. I've had a career in technology development in Southern California. I live in Manhattan Beach, and just right here in the South Bay, I work for Northrop Grumman and Chevron and American Honda, among others. My friend Jim Mueller referred me to you. I'm delighted to know that Redondo Beach has a youth commission, and you're also youthful. This is delightful. We have formed an Artesia community project to improve Artesia Boulevard and the Galleria. These locations are in urgent need of assistance. Their struggles are affecting the community, merchants, and the city with lost tax revenues. Our team has several projects underway involving art and community events. But so I'm a tech guy, and I'm developing an app called See Artesia to provide community commerce, which is an elevated local e-commerce. At its core, See Artesia will raise the relationship between buyers and local merchants. The first phase is a commerce map to draw people to the Artesia community and the Galleria. Then we'll evolve in phases with the ultimate goal of creating fun and productive trips for residents and visitors to the boulevard. So if you've heard how much shopping is going online, I'm trying to tip the scale back from online retail back to local retail, starting right here in our city. I hope the app can begin to immediately improve our community. And if we succeed, it's very scalable into a larger business. Right now, I'm handling all the programming, although that may change. I'm actually interviewing others. And it's possible that students could help with the actual coding and related tech work. But aside from that, there are several potential non-tech areas of youth involvement. I can see youth helping with app testing. It's a great experience. Research, data entry, tech support, outreach, communications, social media, and more. And this is for our community. And we're going to need more participants soon by next quarter. So I've been keeping the city council informed and the mayor, all 5 candidates, and the planning and arts commissions, and now you. And I've just started to engage with the ECHO project at Redondo Union, evaluating student team business plans. And tomorrow I'll meet with Mike Suhu, specifically on opportunities for getting Redondo Union youth engaged in both our tech project and the community aspects of it. And I'm delighted to introduce our project to you. I welcome any ways you can offer to engage with our youth. So thanks, that's it. I welcome any questions or support at rick@mcqcorp.com. And may I please give you my card? Would you like my card? Okay.
Second? Do I second? Okay.
Who can I give these to?
You can give them to me and we can hand them out for you. Thank you.
Anybody else?
I'll send them out to everyone. Thank you.
Thanks. Anything I can tell you? Okay, great, thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other public comments?
I'm going to check e-comments one more time, as well as Zoom. So we have no e-comments or Zoom, and then no other live public comments.
Okay, thank you. Are there any items from previous agendas?
No, there is not.
Okay. Any items for discussion prior to action? Oh, I see. The budget action item.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay.
So the first item is an opportunity for the commission to provide input. So every year around this time, the city starts developing its budget for the next fiscal year. So the city runs, instead of a calendar year from January through December, the fiscal budget is from July 1st through June 30th of every year. And so it's right about the time that we're going to start planning for the budget for July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2026. And so at this time, what the city is doing is going through some exercises to go through all of the commissions, including yours, to see if there's any input that we can provide to the city council so that as they're developing the budget, they have input from the subject matter experts on either programs, services, equipment. It could truly be anything. An example and something that I would like for you all to consider is asking for allocation for the teen center. The teen center itself has sat empty, it has not been used, and so there is no ongoing regular programming budget for that. So once it gets open, we want to make sure we have some funding to do events and activities. And so it could be something as simple as that, or if there's a big event or a big activity that you would like the city to host or sponsor, that could be part of your request. And so what we are asking you to do is just give me some ideas. I would like the commission to kind of have somewhat of a consensus on the general ideas and concepts. It could be one, it could be as many as you think would be helpful for the council to consider. And then we will make sure to include those when the city council considers the budget. So I'm happy to answer any questions you have. We do need to do public comment for this item. So just want to remind you before we get too far into the conversation, but you're welcome to discuss amongst yourselves. Let me know if you have any questions, and then we can go from there. So I'll turn it over to you.
I have 2 questions.
Sure.
How specific does the request have to be? Because it can't be as broad as like youth needs. How specific do we need to present our request?
It should be as specific as you can make it, to be honest with you, because that'll be the most helpful for the council. They're leaning on you to be the subject matter experts in this. So if you know, for example, that the teens really need a mental health event and it needs to be $10,000 for that event to go properly, it can be that detailed. We want $10,000 for a mental health event at Teen Center in fiscal year 26. But if you don't know the generals specifics, you can just say allocate up to a certain amount for, general services for whatever program it is. So that's a long-winded answer of it should be as specific as you can make it, but at the same point, it doesn't have to be.
Okay. And my second question is the next council meeting like the deadline to give our input?
So no, so the council actually doesn't approve the budget until June. So we are a little early, but we start on staff side, we actually are starting preparations for the budget within the next week or so. So if the commission, I believe if you needed more time, we probably could redo this discussion in April, especially because you guys meet so early in the month. So if you wanted more time, we could always do something in April as well. We could continue the item, but you do have a little bit of time. We have a little bit of flexibility, but I wouldn't push it too far past April because we want to make sure it's included in the final documents.
Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Absolutely.
Turn this on. But do you know, when you mentioned the teen center has been sat vacant for a long time, do you know if it has Wi-Fi, if it is fully equipped to accept teens once it opens? Those are things that cost money and will cost, like, I think no teen is going to want to go sit in a room in a dead zone.
Yeah,
So
sure.
how would we know what's allocated already for that teen center or anything line item for youth events in the city? Oh, somebody turned it on.
Thank you.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. So the question, just to make sure we have it on record, was how do you know how much is already or what is infrastructure-wise already at the teen center and will be provided, and so we can figure out what that gap is based on what we have versus what we need. I can get that for you. There will be Wi-Fi to answer your question specifically. We will have Wi-Fi in the building. But as far as other equipment in there, there really isn't anything else. There's no sound system. Sorry?
Is there any furniture?
There will be. We do
Okay.
have a small budget that we can start to furnish, but that's where we really don't have much for ongoing. And so if it's helpful, and if you would like to continue this item to the next meeting, I can return with a clear information of what the expected outcome is of the reopening of the facility, so we know what will be included, and then you can kind of see what might be needed after that. We can do that.
I have a quick question. Just because I know we did the survey a little while back, would we be taking some of those things that we kind of asked the students about in the survey and then asking for specific allocations to specific things? Like we had like a study room or like even like vending machines. Is our request specific to that? Or
It could,
like,
it can, and frankly, I think it should be. I think that the survey results is such a valuable tool for you and really is that hard data that you can lean on to further argue why something is needed. So certainly that survey, I would use all that data as much as you can.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Of course.
Just a quick question.
Yeah.
Would we have to attend like budgeting meetings in order to provide input, or are you going to be like giving us a list of their decisions and we just make?
Yeah, thank you. I didn't explain that fully. So, so what will happen is we will provide an overview of all of your requests to the city manager, and he will consider that as part of his recommendation to council, but he will also include all of your recommendations as part of the main report. So the council can see, this is what the city manager is recommending based on the numbers he knows. But in the bigger picture, this is all that was asked. So if the council wanted to piecemeal and add to, they can do that. So the council will see your final list, but the city manager will see it initially and consider that for his recommendation. And then also you will not have to attend. I don't know if I made that clear. So we will transmit that. You guys would not have to attend to. You're always welcome to. It's always helpful, but you would not be required to.
Does anyone have any specific suggestions for the budget tonight?
I feel like maybe we need to wait a little bit, have like a better idea of what we need before we can actually decide on a budget. So I guess I would suggest for now maybe pushing it back, but I don't know about you guys.
I agree. I think obviously the council knows we've got the youth center, the teen center opening up soon, but telling them that information isn't going to be too helpful for budgeting. So if we could push this to April.
Sure, we certainly can. Just so I can make sure you guys have the information you need to make an informed decision in April. If you can just give me some guidelines or just items that you want us to return with information on, we're happy to do that. Obviously, the teen center, we can do that. So if there's anything extra, please let me know and we'll include that in the report.
And where can I find the survey to have those data results that we got? Is it in the
Agenda.
folder? Okay, cool. Just want to make sure.
Okay.
Did you want to do public comment before we?
Yeah, absolutely.
okay,
I see 2 students in the audience, so if you have any comments on the future budget, come on up.
I'm sorry.
You have to come and
Could you come up to
get the
the?
microphone.
Oh, it actually has to be in the mic.
If you could, and if you could just state your name.
Okay, hey guys, I'm Slavia. I'm a senior, and for ideas, no, and this is Katie, by the way. Let me think.
I mean, I don't know much about your teen center, but there's a time. I don't know much about the teen center, but I think that if you guys did do events and stuff, I think a lot of people would go to those, especially. So I think you should definitely make an effort to factor that into the budget, because I know I would go. So.
Yeah. Not sure where like the wellness center is in terms of your, like, I don't know if that's within your kind of range of criteria that you guys focus on, but I think it's more funding to promoting the wellness center. I don't know, just in terms of, not only in terms of high school students, but also middle school students, maybe, I don't know. But it's just an idea. Yeah. Or some other, like, I think that'd be a good idea. Mental health services for teens. Sorry, I was like kind of on the spot, so I'm
All good.
not too sure. But if we think of something, I'll approach one of you guys later. You guys can communicate on behalf of us the next meeting. So
Thank you.
thank you.
Can we ask the speakers a question?
Sure.
Okay, so when we do open the teen center, we want to like do a fun event. What kind of event, or like would there be elements that you would want to see at that? I think I was thinking maybe like we have pickleball equipment, and so maybe like a tournament and then have like a food spread or something. Do you think people would attend?
I think food is always a great way to get people to attend. And I think that'd be fun. Something, because it's active, it's social, and you have food. I think that's everything that a teen would look for.
Yeah, I think that and other activities like cornhole or just things that people can kind of bond over. Maybe it would be interesting to also like collaborate with like some sort of club at our school, like salsa or like hip hop or something. I feel like that would be an interesting like collaborative like fundraiser / like promotional kind of event.
And I know Salsa's done something before where they did a class and the turnout was pretty good. And people seemed to like generally like it. So I think a collaboration with them would be pretty successful.
Yeah, okay, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Okay.
And anyone else from the public would like to speak? No? At this time, we have no e-comments and no one on Zoom.
Okay. Could I have a motion and a second to move on to the strategic planning item?
Motion.
I'm sorry, before we jump into voting on that, I just want to make sure, was there anything else that would be helpful for this item for the next meeting? So just besides the teen center, I just want to make sure that you guys have what you need. Yeah?
I think so.
Is there other things besides the teen center we should be thinking of?
It could be anything. And it also doesn't have to be anything that you guys are related to as far as teens. It could be something that's not teen focused, but something that you think the city and the community should be concerned with. So I can't think of any quick example. I mean, let's say you
Well-
think that the RB PAC should have different types of performances, and not that that's a budget question item specifically, but just off the top of my head, it could be something like that where you guys aren't necessarily attached to the Performing Arts Center, but it's just for the budget consideration, anything. I'm sorry, Commissioner Flynn, I don't know
No,
if
I
I
was
cut you
just
off.
going to clarify, when they create the budget, their line items to do art improvements in the city, or say
Right.
revitalize Artesia, as the gentleman was talking about, or the skate park that was done in the, near the pier, or what you feel like if there needs to be revitalization of the pier, if there's anything you see in the city overall that maybe not just be for kids, but they would love to hear a youth perspective on what the council should be prioritizing in the budget, in its limited budget. But so every dollar will be fought for. Obviously, we want to talk about the things that will service the youth, but if the youth have a strong opinion that if it's mental health services, or even something that has nothing to do with kids, but just what it would make living in Redondo a better experience overall for the community, I'm sure they would love to, if you guys think about that, that might be something they'd like to hear about. And you can always have somebody from this commission or all of them come and speak in public comment, just like people come here when they actually consider the budget to speak on behalf of the commission.
I definitely think we could consider some money to the Beach Cities Transit, because I take the bus and a bunch of my friends, and they do not like the bus service. They think it could be improved. Just throw that idea out there.
Sure. Is there any information that I can give that would help? Is there anything specific that could be improved?
The buses are late and they're usually like really full, so.
Okay.
So like maybe like trying to run a second bus, especially when school gets out.
I think also just pushing the BCT service more to the youth. I know that obviously from schools, we know about it, but for example, transportation was an issue in the survey results, and the BCT hits most of Redondo. It goes by the school. I can walk to the stop, and during COVID, I would take the free bus and we'd go to North Redondo and go thrifting at the Goodwill on Artesia. So I think it's only $1, so I think students should really know about BCT and the services and how close the stops are. Also, I think the BCT Live Updates website is kind of like dated. It's not too easy to follow. I think that could get a new face. Also, I tried catching the bus like 2 weeks ago and it left early, which was a really odd problem, but
Sometimes it's really early, sometimes it's really late, sometimes it doesn't even come at all, so.
Oh, okay.
anyway, I think especially around the teen center opening, if we want more people to go, if the Beach Cities Transit was more accessible and just known, it would help out with student presence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I just have something that like, I kind of started this project kind of independently last year, hasn't really gotten anywhere because we had a change in principals at my school, but I had kind of an idea about like a closed captioning system for the Redondo Theater Arts program, because I know like, I mean, I'm deaf and hard of hearing myself, and I also know like some other people that, struggle sometimes to hear the performances when they're played, even people that come in the community. We have sold out theaters of people that come, and so I don't know, like, I don't know how to like put forward a budget like proposal, but I've kind of done a little bit of research about it, but that was just something I wanted to push forward a little bit, because I do think having like some sort of closed captioning program could be beneficial, not only to Redondo students, but the people that come and see the performances. And we even have other events, like we had the Peace Poll reveal a couple of years ago, and like we have a lot of those events in the auditorium, and I think that could be something beneficial to everybody.
Another thing that I've been wanting to see, I'm not exactly sure the approach to making this happen, but just the expansion of third spaces, places that aren't your home, places that aren't work or school, and places that you don't necessarily need to spend money, but like a cafe, a library. Commissioner Flynn mentioned the pier, and I live down the street from the pier, but it's not the most like teen friendly. I know the council's talking about revitalizing it, rebuilding it, doing construction there to make it more appealing. But I hope there's some more teen consideration. Like the Fun Factory, that was good for teens. Now it's kind of just restaurants and family friendly, but not necessarily teen friendly and not that approachable. So
Yeah, and so something to consider for our discussion next month is what would you recommend? And it doesn't have to be specific, but even if there's guardrails to it, that the council can, that you can just let the council know, if you guys put something like this or tried to get something similar down at the pier, that would really help bring the teens population out there. So think about that so that next month when we talk about it, if there's things like that that we can include. And we're not going to put a dollar figure to it, of course, because we wouldn't necessarily for that item. So just know, we don't have to specifically say, we want you to allocate X number of dollars. We can just say, please consider doing X, Y, and Z at whatever location. And then if they like it, then we as staff would be tasked with calculating what that is. So,
okay.
Yeah. Okay.
I do have a suggestion for the pier. If we were to like revitalize it, I think it would be a good idea if there's more stuff that was, I think maybe someone mentioned this, but like cheaper or like free, because I remember when I'm going to the pier, I always have to like bring money with me, because like sometimes my journalism class, we go to like the pier, but like you always have to bring money there, because it like you can't really do that much stuff if you don't have money with you. So I think one thing that would be very good is if we go to the pier and there's stuff you can do that does not require like that much like cash or something, because like you go to like an ice cream and it's like $7. I'm like, bruh, because there goes like half my money I brought. Like, so yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, so if there's no more input,
Add
oh,
something.
sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. I was going to say overall, just more funding for the arts in general, specifically in our school, more funding because I feel like there is some funding, but like usually there's not enough funding to be able to actually make a difference, specifically for like the theater program at our school. I feel like there should be more funding because I feel like because of how many more people are coming to shows now, because of like how it's getting more popular and is growing on social media, I just feel like there's not enough funding to serve the popularity that it's receiving, and that we need to like come up to that like level.
Mm-hmm.
Can I just make a clarifying point for the commissioners? The closed captioning and the theater program at the school, two different budgets. The school district has a budget and has the purview over what happens at the theater program at the high school. I mean, as much as I would love to think the city would create a line item budget to support the schools, that hasn't really been something that happens in the past, but you can always address the school board and the school district about advocating for that kind of funding. So.
Also, since public events are held at our school auditorium, I think it would be something to consider, since it's not only a school use.
That's a good point.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I have enough, unless there's any more comments, I have enough to get a report for you guys all for next month.
Okay, perfect.
Great, thank you.
Do you suggest that we also look at the survey results before the next meeting? So
I would look at the results and just see if anything kind of sparks anything from that.
Okay. Can we have a motion and a second to move on to the next agenda item?
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Okay, so the next item is discussion for you all to discuss and consider providing input to the city council again, but this is on the city's strategic plan. So I don't know how familiar you are with strategic plans. We did attach to your agenda packet this current city strategic plan matrix. And so ultimately, this is a guiding document for the city council, and it's incredibly critical for us as staff, because what council does is they are able to set goals, and then within those goals, there's a number of projects that are related to those goals that we know as staff are priority. So it basically helps staff create a priority list of what we should be focusing on. Currently, the strategic plan, it has 3-year goals. So the overarching goals, I believe there's 6 of them total, but then each of the individual items and projects within those are set for 6 months. Doesn't mean they all have to get completed within 6 months. That would be most ideal, but certainly knowing that there's a lot of projects in there. So on your computers, if you wanted to pull that up, that link up, just so you can see, just throwing out some general examples of what is on the strategic plan is one of the items is digital records enhancement. And so the request is to work with, for our IT department, to work with all city departments to see what can we do to further digitize documentation, internal documents, record management, just kind of start, instead of having all the paper files and boxes, is there more that we can do to digitize? Just another example, and one that's related to our department for community services. Let me see if I could find a good one that might be a really good example. So we have, throughout our parks, you probably have seen it, we have a memorial bench and plaque program. So at some of the parks, we have people, anyone in the city can actually do a commemorative donation for either a tree or a bench. And then there's a small plaque that can accompany it. Our department oversees that program. So all those requests and then the coordination for the installation goes through our team. So what we're doing is we're preparing a report for the city council to recommend some updates to that. And specific to that, consider the esplanade, which if you have walked down it and walked down specifically looking at all of the benches that are along it, there's not much room for anything more there. So part of our recommendation may be for us to no longer accept commemorative donations on the esplanade. But council wanted to put it in their strategic plan so that we as staff knew that this was a priority. And so we're preparing a report that's responsive to this. And so, we have a new council. Well, depending on the results of the election, we will have some new council members starting in April. And so at the end of April, our city council will sit with our city manager, and then a consultant, a moderator will come in, and they will review the current strategic plan, and they will determine what they want to set forth in the upcoming strategic plan. So most likely another 6-month, possibly year-long program. And so like the previous item with the budget, what we're doing is going through all of the commissions to see, is there anything that is project-based? Because most of the strategic plan items are typically project-based, that we would recommend to the city council to include in the strategic plan. So there is a little bit of crossover with the budget, obviously. So don't feel like you have to completely bifurcate both of those discussions. So there could be some items that we request budget monies for, but are included in the strategic plan as well. But there also can be completely separate items on both. So feel free to kind of peruse through this. If you have any questions on kind of what differentiates items on a strategic plan versus not, please let me know. But ultimately, we're just looking to you. Is there anything that you would like the city council to add to their work plan in the next 6 months to a year? And then we will, let me just double check on this report. And so what we will do is, if there are items that you would like to put, you would like us to put forth to the city council, if you can tonight designate one of you, or two, it can be up to 2, to work directly with staff, and we will collectively draft a letter that will hopefully encapsulate everything that you guys would like to include to the council. We will bring that letter back to you at your April meeting so that we have time to finalize it and send it to council in time for their meeting at the end of April, where they will discuss the strategic plan. So tonight, we're really asking for 2 things: for you to give us input on what you think should be on the strategic plan, and if you do have items, designate a representative to work with staff to draft that letter, and then we will take it from there. So happy to answer any questions you have, and so I'll turn it back over.
Are there any suggestions for the project that we would submit or suggest?
Actually, I do have a question. About if you had a rough estimate, like how much of these projects do you think are related to the youth commission? Like at least what we do.
The projects that are currently on, honestly, I don't know if there are many that are directly related to the Youth Commission, if any. I can't think of any off the top of my head. I can kind of glance through as you guys are discussing, but I don't think there's any specifically related to teens currently.
Ms. Orda, is the letter that you would draft also including the budget proposal?
No, so they would be two completely separate
Okay.
documents.
Would anybody like to volunteer to help Ms. Orda draft the letter regarding the strategic planning matrix?
Well, it might be, I guess the question is, are there anything that you guys would like to include in the strategic plan? And if you don't, that's perfectly fine. Then we don't need to select a representative.
I think our teen center will hopefully capture all of our concerns. So we put our energy towards that.
Okay. Okay, no problem. Okay, before we do close this item, just want to make sure we don't have any public comment.
We do not have any e-comments, and I'm going to check Zoom. We do not have any attendees on Zoom, and anyone from the public? No. We do not have any live comments either.
Before we move on, would the BCT improvement suggestion be included in this, or?
It could be, yeah.
Okay.
I think we could consider that.
And actually, that might be a better place for that item because it's more of a project, because it's not only looking at the routes, but it's also looking at stop times and all of that. So there really isn't money set aside for that. It's just more of kind of reworking what we currently have. So that might be a better placement for that item if you want to consider that.
Okay, and Commissioner Flynn?
I was just going to mention, you talked about third space, your idea of other. I believe that's something that you might want to consider putting into the city's strategic plan. If you think of a strategic plan as a roadmap of what they're what their vision is for the community and what they can also instruct for projects for staff, like one would be looking at the BCT routes and improving it and maybe creating a better system for youth transportation, but also creating those third spaces outside of school and home that isn't necessarily a park, but maybe what you see at the pier. You could, if this group wanted to consider those types of visions for the overall direction that Redondo Beach would move toward in the next 6 to 12 months.
And if there's any hesitation, we as staff can try to draft the letter and then send it to the representative to make sure that we captured it right. We certainly don't want to speak for you, so don't feel like whoever is selected for that needs to be the one to write it. We can certainly help get that moving forward.
There's no wrong way to write it, I think is what she's trying to say.
Exactly, not at all.
In that case, is there anybody that would like to volunteer as a representative? If not, I'll be happy to do it, but.
Okay, so just to make sure, it's just the Beach Cities Transit to consider the routes and the times, and then the third space concept throughout the city. Okay. Okay, so if we can just have a formal, unless there's other items that we missed, just want to make sure. Okay, so if we can have someone do a motion to have Chairperson Feldy work with staff to draft a letter to City Council to include recommendations on considering changes to the Beach Cities Transit as we discussed, and then the consideration of the third space concept for the city's inclusion in the strategic plan. And you
Motion.
could just say so moved. Yeah, that's perfect.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Okay, can I ask who made the second? Okay, great, thank you. Okay, our final item, well, discussion item, I should say, is the subcommittee and appointments update. Before I turn this over, I just want to briefly mention, this is our standing item for anyone on a subcommittee to provide any updates to the commission on anything that's been done since our last commission meeting. As part of this item, so we can do this, what I would recommend is that we go through, see if there's any updates. And then once that is completed, what I would like the commission to consider is for us to dissolve one subcommittee and then one of our stakeholder groups, because they have completed their tasks already, which is wonderful. So consider dissolving the RUHS safety and access stakeholder assignments. They've completed all their meetings. They provided really valuable feedback. Staff has actually been really happy with all the feedback they provided. So that's been completed. And then as well as doing the teen survey subcommittee, since that has been completed, data's been accepted, and you all have seen that. So again, for tonight, if you can just see if there's any updates and then consider dissolving both of those subcommittees, or one subcommittee and one stakeholder group, that would be great. So happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Okay, I'll go down in order of the subcommittees that are listed on the website. So Substance Abuse Subcommittee, is there any update? Okay, Communications Subcommittee. Okay. Teen Survey Subcommittee, anything new from the last meeting? Okay, Teen Center and Event Subcommittee. Okay, and the stakeholder group. Okay, are the subcommittee meetings going successfully? Like, are people attending?
So we did last month hold meetings with all the subcommittees, and we did have attendance, which was wonderful. We did try to encourage the subcommittees to meet independently throughout the month this month. I don't know if there was any meetings. I wasn't aware. I know that there was some that I think Commissioner Reeves was trying to schedule one. I don't know if it ever was able to take place. So yeah, I'm not too sure.
Okay. Okay, I've heard from a few commissioners that there's sometimes scheduling conflicts. So I guess if we could prioritize getting more people to attend the subcommittee meetings by checking conflicts, that'd be great. I know that we don't really have assignments for the subcommittees at this point, but I feel like there's always something to discuss, so yeah.
After the meeting, if like for especially the Teen Wellness Center subcommittee, if we could just like get together and like get everyone's phone numbers, I think text is a lot easier to find like a good time, especially if we want to try to look into what we want to have for the budget.
I love that idea, but that doesn't violate the Brown Act, right?
No, as long as it's only subcommittee members, yeah, and
Okay.
no more on that text string. Yeah, that should be fine.
I highly encourage the
Yeah.
group chats then. Okay,
Sorry, if we're also collecting phone numbers, maybe we could like have this thing where we all like have a calendar so everyone could put like if they're busy, and I think that would make it a lot easier because we have everyone's phone number and everyone's events, then it should be like not really a problem to set up subcommittee meetings.
Yeah, I think if we have a group chat, then we can just like send out possible dates and just see the most people that can come.
okay. Sounds like a plan. Okay.
So let's do public comment real quick, and then we can have you guys consider the other two items for that, if that's okay.
Looks like we do not have any e-comments or anyone on Zoom. And then I do not see anyone in the public in person looking to speak.
Okay, thank you.
Great.
Oh,
Oh, can you come
yeah.
to the podium?
Of course.
Okay, so this kind of relates to the third space idea that you were talking about, as well as Mr. McQuillan's presentation in the beginning. So a way that we could a way that we think would be an interesting method of sort of revitalizing the South Bay Galleria while also creating a space for teens to sort of have an environment where they can hang out with their friends or communicate with their peers would be to promote maybe a possible collaboration between the teen center and some sort of store in the South Bay Galleria, like Cinnabon or something, like a Cinnabon fundraiser to sort of get teens to attend like a promotional event or something that could raise awareness about the South Bay Galleria and really cultivate that space for students to find companionship with each other.
Yeah, and put some effort into, I think it was you was saying like it's so hard to find stuff to do that doesn't cost a ludicrous amount of money. So putting more effort into getting spaces where teens can just go and be and exist and not have to break their bank account to do so.
Just like something really simple. And I know everyone likes food, so I think that people can bond over something like that.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, going back to the discussion of dissolving two subcommittees, can I have a motion and a second to dissolve the teen survey subcommittee?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Was the second Van Pelt? No. Okay, Edwards, thank you.
And moving on to the stakeholder group, a motion and a second to dissolve that.
I motion.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
I'm sorry, I missed the second. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so that completes that item. Thank you.
Moving on to the staff liaison report.
We don't have anything this evening to report except just a reminder to you all to please reapply for the Youth Commission for next year if you're interested in serving. We hope that for those that aren't seniors, that you would be interested in doing that. And the application is on our website, so please feel free to get that. If you need help with it, please don't hesitate to reach out to myself or Michelle, and we are happy to walk you through that. And the other thing that I just wanted to briefly mention is that we as staff are starting to make some big progress on the teen center as far as having it ready for opening. We are hoping to schedule in the next month or so some sort of like a planning workshop or something to where we can hear directly from the teens, including you all. We hope you all will attend so that we can figure out how exactly to design the space. For those that have attended the facility, it's really just right now a large open room with very blank canvases. And so we want to make sure that it's a functional space, but also has some flexibility. And so, so just keep your eyes open for that. We hope that once we get that a little bit more dialed in, that you guys will help us promote it. And again, that you guys will be able to attend as well. So just wanted to mention it so that it didn't come as a surprise to you when we get all of the details on that completed. So, but other than that, that completes our report.
Sorry.
you.
Oh, when you say like, would that be like not just us, like anybody that wants to come?
It would be a community event, so we
Okay.
would welcome any teens to come. And so we're trying to envision exactly how to make it work most efficiently and get the information that we need. So we likely will loop in the Teen Center Subcommittee to help us kind of plan it, and then also look to that subcommittee as well as probably the rest of the commission on implementing it on the day of.
I mean, just like thinking about it, like maybe we could do like an open house where it's literally just empty and have like papers or like something for people to write their thoughts down, and also include like food or something for people to come and like bond over, like they said.
Yeah, for sure. That's kind of where we were
Okay, yeah.
envisioning it. So yeah, that's exactly it.
When you say open house, you mean like bare, minimal furniture, so like people can envision the space as they want to?
Yeah, and so it's, I even hesitate to call it an open house because we're not really like opening the facility, but it's more of an opportunity for them to come in. So it is open, but it's going to be more of kind of an envisioning workshop is probably a better description for it. We want to hear what everyone would like to see there, even down to what kind of colors would you like? What's the color palette that is most intriguing to you? We really just kind of want to know how we should be kind of focusing our attention on the colors, furniture, all of that, and what the facility should be organized for. So,
And around what date are you hoping to have that happen?
we were hoping in March, but I'm not too sure we'll be able to pull that together that quickly. So most likely it'll be in April.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
But as we get more information, we'll certainly share it with you. So if you have ideas, please feel free to shoot me an email, and Michelle and I will try to do our best to incorporate it into the event.
Okay, and will the Teen Center Subcommittee have that planning or have that event on their, I guess, like subcommittee agenda to discuss?
Yeah, we will be looping them in once we internally organize the event concept a little bit more. We will loop in the Teen Center Subcommittee to help us on certain elements and most likely on the event day.
Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh.
Okay, moving on to commission member items or items for future agendas. Okay, well, besides what we mentioned, or I guess what we mentioned earlier, rethinking what we'll present to the council regarding the budget, I suggest all of us to relook at the teen survey results and brainstorm ideas of what specifically we can suggest for budgeting. And yeah, and then also next meeting, we'll talk or do a reading of the letter that we'll draft.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
sounds good. Are there any other ideas for future agenda items? Okay.
Okay.
A
motion to adjourn.
Okay, motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
Sorry, one more time. Who was the second? Oh, thank you. Okay, thank you all.
Okay, have a great night.